how to use FreeCad in order to split your 3D print object. Sometimes you have a big object that you want to 3D print, but your printer is not big enough, so you want to split it into pieces, or sometimes just you want to print different parts with different print settings. For example, smaller parts will need some kind of brim or something like that to build on, whereas the bigger parts don't need. So I start by, well, your start screen would look like this, and then I will open the file that I want to split, and that would be it. Now I will go to mesh design, and I have, yes, great. And now I cannot see my design, and that happens so often. All you need to do is to click on that, fit the whole content to the screen, and there you have it. Now that's a spinner, and today I want to talk about two things. The first thing is how to isolate these three parts from the spinner and print them separately, all at once, all the three parts at once, and the body separately. And the other thing is how to split the actual body into different pieces. There is no use case for this, but it's just an example. Okay, so the first part is easy. I want to have the spinner independent from the three others. So I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to make 4 objects. So I will copy this. Let me give it a name. Let's say spinner. I want to make 4 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did copy and paste basically. Okay. Now I will press space to hide the original. I will actually press space to hide them all. I don't need the original. Anyway, so this is the first one. I press space again to show it while I am here. And then I will go to mesh, and then I will choose remove components by hand, and I will choose this one, this one, this one, right click, delete selected, and done. That's it really. I will call this body. Now okay, now let me hide the body and show the next one. And for this one I wanted to show the top one only, so we'll call it top tip maybe, and this time I'll choose this and delete selected, and let's hide that one and show the next one. And this is let's say left tip, and for that I will delete this, delete selected, and again hide. And now the last one, we'll call it right tip, and same way select and delete. And now theoretically, if I were to show them all, I should see the original picture. So let's see if that happens. So show. Yes, okay, great. That means I did a good job. And it's not over yet. For body, I can just export it. So I can, let me show you again. Right click, export mesh, and we'll call this part 1. Yes, replace, great. And I can just delete it from here. We don't need it anymore. Now these three, I want to get them closer together so I can put them on a frame or raft or something like that. So you can just choose this one. You see it's turning red because I still have the removal function active. I need to cancel that first. So I press right click and leave removal mode. Okay. Now when you click on it, you get the properties here, and can use X, Y, and Z to move it. I just need the X and Y really. Let's do that. Let's get that one here. Oh, sorry. Okay, now we choose this one and choose like that and like that. So make it close enough, make that one also close enough. Great, so that's exactly what I needed. Now I need to export the whole project. Export, choose the objects, let me choose them all, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then I press shift and then I click on each object to select them all, and then I choose export, and then I choose STL from here. So it's probably there is a smarter way to do it, but this one is good enough. And STL mesh, and it's part 2, replace, yes, great. Now let's go to Kira and verify that this is actually working. So this is part 1, this is part 2, never mind why the icons look different. We'll open with Kira. Right, so yeah, here's my object and looks perfect. Looks perfect, really. Great, now let's see the other one, the part 2. And yes, sure enough, they are all, the 3 of them are coming together and they're not touching, and yeah, I can now put them on a raft or on a beam or something like that, and I can print them. Perfect. So that was the first kind of splitting that I wanted to talk about. Now let's get back to our project here. The next step is we need to split the actual spinner into different pieces, and this is the next part of the video that I want to talk about. So I will open the part 1 that I have saved earlier that only contained the body here, and we need to split that. Okay, so there is, if I am in mesh design where we did our last work, there is an option, but first let me select the part and then can choose an option called split mesh. Well, that option doesn't work very well. I just wanted to show you in case someone figure out why it doesn't work. So you basically choose like this, choose like this, choose like this, and then you say give me the outer part. Then you have 2 pieces. If I try to hide this one, then you can see this one, and if I try to hide this one, then you can see this one. And this works great, except for one problem, is introducing sharp edges, and I have no idea why this happened. It's like you are breaking the model rather than cut it. I don't understand why there is these sharp edges. I mean, obviously they fit. So if you have holes here, then if you open this one, you would see that there is bruises that would fit in the holes, but I just don't understand why that happened at all. So I will undo that, and I'm back to my original part. And now let me tell you how to do it properly. First, you need to go to part, and we need to convert that part into shape. So you go here and you choose create shape from mesh, and now it's asking for tolerance. Now my printer has 0.4 nozzle, and I print on 0.2 layer height, so I figured 0.1 millimeter is enough tolerance. I don't know if this logic is even correct. I'm a beginner with this app, but anyway, I press OK, and yeah, done. Now I have 2 parts, the shape and the mesh. I don't need the mesh anymore, so I will go ahead and delete that. And now let's call it spinner. I press F2 for rename, and spinner, and I need to go here and press OK to remove that. Okay, great. Now before you actually cut your spinner body, you need to tell FreeCad that this is a solid, means it's not hollow from inside. What difference does it make? It makes difference after you do the cut. If you didn't specify that this is solid, then after the cut you would have a hole in the place where you cut, which we don't need. So I will go to part and I will choose convert to solid. And now I have the solid one and the original, which I don't need, so I delete. Great, now I have this solid and I can start cutting. For FreeCAD, in order to cut something, you need to choose cut it with what. So I will create what they call a plane, and you can think of it like a blade, and you will place the blade where you want the cut to happen, and then we can cut after. So let me go here, creation of parameterized geometric primitive, and make sure this is a plane. I can say the length is maybe 30 millimeter by 30 millimeter. It doesn't have to be accurate, it just has to be big enough to cover the part that you want to cut completely. I will show you how now. So I press create. Okay, now I have my plane. I will close this. Now I wanted to cut this part like this, so I need this one to be vertical. And the way you do that is you try to make the rotation with this nice tool, which I honestly don't know how to use. There you go. I think. Is that good enough? Is that, yeah, looks good to me. I mean, okay. Just go here and make sure, yeah, the angle is 90 degree, perfect. You could have also done it from here, really, from the placement part. But anyway, now let's go to position and start moving that in order to cover the part I'm trying to cut. So I will go to X, yes please, and Y, and okay, how does that look like? Need Z also. Can go deeper. Okay, that's deep enough, I think, because if I increase more, then I will start getting part of the body, which I don't want. So that's deep enough for me. I want to cut this piece. Right, now if you want to do if you want to cut other parts as well, you could place another plane right now. So let me try that. Try cutting another part so I can show you how fast this can be. So I will again create parameterized plane, and then here 30 and 30. Let's make it this one. Yeah, 20 and 20 is enough for this one, I think. Create, and now I have another plane, and this one I want to put it on top to cut the spinner from the top. So let's take this one high up and then move it here, maybe can take it, sorry, and try rotating like that, and try to go. Now I don't want the two planes intersect with each other. I have no clue what would that do, if it will do anything at all, but I want to stay in the safe side since I'm still learning and keep my distance. So that's good enough. I have one plane that will cut this piece, and I will have one plane that would cut that top part. Everything looks good, and I'm ready for the next step. So first you choose the part that you want to cut, in this case the spinner, and then you can press Ctrl and choose the other two planes that you want to use for cutting, and then you go to part and split, and then slice and click. Wait 1 second. Okay, now you don't see actually anything yet, but just you can rest assured that this has been sliced already, but now I want to isolate the individual slices and export each one of them. So how to do that? I will click on the slice here, and then I will go to part again, components, and compound, and then compound filter, and this filter will allow me to only show one part at a time, and then I can do whatever I want with that part, and then after I have created copy of the 3 parts, I can export them. So let's do that. Compound filter, and okay, now we can see there is 2 parts has already been cut. Now let me choose the compound filter. In the filter type, I want to choose specific items. I don't know what does that mean. I don't know what does the other filter types mean, but that's what I found online on how to cut things on FreeCad. Now we have 3 items. We have the top, we have this part, and we have the bottom part here. So I can specify here either 0, 1, or 2 for showing different part of the item. You can also show 2 parts together, but I don't want to get to that now. So for now, items can either be 0, 1, or 2. Now let's start with 0, which is the default. This is the part you can see here. I will click and choose parts and choose create a simple copy. And that's sorry, still learning. I can call that top, or that will not be the top. Let's say what, left part maybe, whatever. Go back to the filter and go back to items and change the 0, make it 1, and let me hide my left part here. Great. Go back to compound. So now you can see after I change it from 0 to 1, I got this part. Let me show you again. I will change it back to 0. Sorry. I will change it back to 0, and yeah, we get back this. If I change it to 1, we get the next part, which is this one. I will do the same thing, part, and copy, create simple copy, and we'll call this, sorry, every time, F2 for rename, and then press top arrow. And I will hide it as well. Then we go back here, and then we change items again to number 2, and we have the final piece, same thing, part, copy, and well, that one was left part, so that has to be right part. Great. Now I don't need the compound anymore, or the slices, or the spinner, or the plane, or the plane. Now I can show the other parts now. So you can see we have all of them now. So at that point it's up to you. You can choose to export each part individually, or just move them and rearrange them on this plane. In that case, I want to export each one individually, so I will choose this part, and then I will choose File, Export, and then I will choose export type would be STL as usual, and well, let's call it SP1, spinner 1, and let me also export this part, sp2.stl. That wouldn't cut it. I have to choose STL. Okay, and yeah, sp2. Let's just go and see our files. Let me open this one with Kira. Let's see if it actually did what we asked it for. Right? Yes. Sure enough, it did in fact cut it perfectly as we wanted. It looks beautiful and it's ready for printing now. And yeah, if I close that one and I go to sp2, well, and that's it. That's how you split your your STL file into different pieces with FreeCad. I hope that wasn't very difficult, and I hope you have enjoyed this video.